Hello everyone. Welcome back to Fluent English. We're so happy you're here with us today. Whether you're listening on your way to work, relaxing at home, or practicing English during your lunch break, thank you for spending some time with us.
Hey everyone, it's great to have you back. We love hearing from learners all around the world, and every week we're excited to help you speak English a little more naturally.
You know, I've noticed something interesting. Many English learners know the word have, but they often use it in only one or two ways. Then they hear native speakers using have in conversations, and suddenly it sounds like a completely different word.
That's so true. Have is one of the most common verbs in English, but it's also one of the most flexible. It can talk about possession, experiences, meals, obligations, relationships, actions, and so much more. Today we're going to break it all down into simple, everyday English.
By the end of this episode, you'll understand several common ways people use have every single day. More importantly, you'll start sounding more natural in conversations because you'll recognize these expressions when native speakers use them.
Before we jump in, we'd love to hear from you. Which country are you listening from, and what's the hardest use of have for you? Leave a comment below so we can read your answers and maybe feature some of them in a future episode.
And if you're enjoying these lessons, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Fluent English, and share it with a friend who's learning English too. Every new lesson is designed to help you speak with more confidence.
Awesome! Grab a notebook if you like taking notes, repeat the examples out loud with us, and let's get started.
Let's begin with the most basic meaning of have. This is the one almost every learner studies first. We use have to show possession. In other words, it tells us that someone owns something or that something belongs to someone. The basic structure is very simple. Subject plus have or has plus object. For example, I have a phone. She has a new car. They have 2 children. That's it. Short, simple, and incredibly useful.
Let's look at a few more everyday examples. I have a busy schedule this week. My brother has a really funny dog. We have plenty of time. Our neighbors have a beautiful garden. Do you have a driver's license? These are all conversations you could hear every day in the United States.
Exactly, but here's something important. Sometimes possession doesn't mean ownership. For example, if I say, I have blue eyes, I don't own my eyes like I own my phone. It simply means this is one of my characteristics. The same happens with sentences like, I have curly hair, I have a cold, I have a headache. In these examples, have describes something about you at that moment.
That's a great point. Native speakers use have for physical conditions all the time. Instead of saying, I am a headache, which is incorrect, we say, I have a headache. Instead of saying, I am a fever, we say, I have a fever. Those little differences make your English sound much more natural.
Here's a question for you. Can you make a sentence with have about something you own? Maybe it's a laptop, a pet, a bicycle, or even a favorite book. Now make another sentence about yourself. Maybe, I have brown hair. Or, I have a busy job. Try saying both sentences out loud.
Speaking out loud is one of the fastest ways to improve your fluency. Don't just read silently, repeat after us. I have a new backpack. She has 3 sisters. We have enough food. They have great ideas. Nice, keep practicing.
Now let's look at negative sentences. The structure is, subject plus don't have or doesn't have plus object. For example, I don't have any cash. He doesn't have much free time. They don't have a car. Notice that after doesn't, we always use the base verb have, not has. That's a very common mistake.
Let's practice together. Correct, she doesn't have a passport. Incorrect, she doesn't has a passport. Always remember doesn't plus have. Never doesn't plus has. It's a small grammar rule, but native speakers notice it immediately.
Questions are just as easy. Do you have any pets? Does she have enough money? Do they have class tomorrow? Notice how the word order changes but have stays in its base form.
Here's a little challenge. Can you answer these questions? Do you have a favorite movie? Do you have siblings? Do you have a dream vacation? Pause for a second and answer each one in English. Even one short sentence is great practice.
Wonderful. Before we move on, here's another tip. In American English, you'll often hear people use contractions naturally. I've got a meeting. She's got 2 cats. We've got plenty of time. You'll hear have got in conversations, but don't worry. It means almost the same thing as have when we're talking about possession. We'll explore that more later in the episode.
Before we finish this section, we'd love another comment from you. Write one sentence beginning with I have, and another beginning with I don't have. Keep them simple and don't worry about making mistakes. Every sentence you write helps build your confidence.
Remember, learning English isn't about being perfect. It's about communicating clearly and practicing consistently. Every conversation you have makes you a stronger speaker.
So let's quickly review what we've learned. We use have to talk about possession, personal characteristics, and common physical conditions. The basic structure is subject plus have or has plus object. Negative sentences use don't have or doesn't have, and questions begin with do or does. Master these basics, and you're already using one of the most important verbs in English the way native speakers do every day. In the next part, we'll discover even more everyday uses of have that you'll hear constantly in real conversations.
Welcome back. Now that we've covered the basic idea of have for possession and personal characteristics, let's build on that foundation. This is where English starts getting really interesting because have doesn't always mean you own something. One of the most common everyday uses is talking about experiences. Instead of saying you own an experience, English uses have to describe something you do or something that happens to you. The simple pattern is subject plus have plus experience or event. For example, I had a great weekend. We had a wonderful vacation. They had a difficult meeting.
Exactly, let's hear a few more examples. I had an amazing time at the concert. She had a fantastic birthday. We had a long conversation. My parents had a relaxing holiday. Did you have fun yesterday? Notice that these don't mean possession. They're talking about life experiences.
That's why native speakers use these expressions constantly. Imagine someone asks, "How was your trip?" You could simply answer, "I had a great time." Or maybe, "We had a lot of fun." Those sound much more natural than trying to translate directly from your own language.
Let's act out a quick conversation. How was your weekend?
It was great. I had dinner with some friends, had a long walk in the park, and had a wonderful evening.
Nice, that's exactly how Americans speak every day.
Here's another very common use. We use have for meals. Listen carefully. I have breakfast at 7. We usually have lunch together. They're having dinner now. Let's have coffee. These are incredibly common expressions.
Sometimes learners ask, why don't people say eat breakfast? Well, you certainly can. I eat breakfast every morning. But in casual conversation, have breakfast, have lunch, and have dinner sound more natural in many situations. You'll hear them everywhere.
Let's compare. I had breakfast before work. I ate breakfast before work. Both are correct. The first one simply sounds a little more conversational in everyday English.
Here's a little practice. Complete these sentences. Every morning I have. Every afternoon I have. Tonight I'm having. Try saying your answers out loud. Maybe you said, I have coffee every morning. I have lunch at noon. I'm having pizza tonight. Perfect.
Here's another useful pattern. We often use have with activities. For example, have a look, have a seat, have a rest, have a drink, have a shower, have a break. Instead of describing the action with another verb, English often chooses have plus a noun.
Let's imagine you're at work. Your coworker says, you've been working for 3 hours. Go have a break. Or your friend visits your house. You smile and say, come in, have a seat. Those are friendly, natural expressions you'll hear all the time.
Here's another quick dialogue. I'm tired.
Then go have a rest. I think I'm thirsty.
Let's have a drink. I can't read this small text.
Here, have a look at it with my glasses. See how natural that sounds.
Now let's compare formal and informal English. If you're talking to close friends, you might say, let's have coffee. Come have dinner with us. Have a look at this. These are relaxed and friendly. In a more formal setting, you might hear, we'll have a meeting tomorrow. Please have a seat. Both are polite, but the tone depends on the situation.
Here's a great tip. Native speakers often combine have with adjectives. Have fun, have patience, have confidence, have courage, have a good day. These combinations are everywhere in spoken English.
Let's do a quick activity. I'll describe a situation, and you think of the best expression. You're welcoming a guest. What do you say? Hopefully you answered, have a seat. Your friend looks stressed after work. You say, have a break. Someone is leaving your office. You smile and say, have a great day. Excellent.
Here's another tip. First, learn these expressions as complete phrases. Second, repeat them out loud instead of memorizing grammar rules. Third, listen for them in movies, TV shows, podcasts, and YouTube videos. Soon they'll become automatic.
We'd love another comment from you. Write one sentence using have breakfast, have fun, or have a great day. Then create another sentence with one of today's activity expressions. The more you write, the more confident you'll become.
Let's review this section. Today we learned that have isn't only about possession. We use it for experiences like have fun or have a great weekend, for meals like have breakfast, and for common activities like have a shower, have a break, and have a look. Master these expressions, and your English will immediately sound more natural.
Great job so far. Now let's explore another group of everyday uses that native speakers rely on all the time. This time, we're talking about have for obligations, relationships, and describing everyday situations. Let's begin with obligation. One of the most useful expressions in English is, have to. The pattern is simple, subject plus have to plus base verb. For example, I have to work tomorrow. She has to leave early. We have to finish this project. They have to study tonight. Notice that have to means something is necessary.
That's different from simply saying, I work tomorrow. When you say, I have to work tomorrow, you're telling us it's an obligation. Maybe your boss scheduled you. Maybe you already promised someone. There's a reason you must do it.
Let's compare. I can stay home. I have to go. The second sentence tells us you don't really have a choice. That's why have to is one of the first expressions every English learner should master.
Here's a quick conversation. Want to watch a movie tonight? I'd love to, but I have to finish my homework. How about tomorrow? Sure, I don't have to work tomorrow evening. That's exactly how these conversations happen every day.
Negative forms are interesting. I don't have to get up early tomorrow. This doesn't mean you can't. It means it's not necessary. Many learners confuse this with mustn't, which means something is prohibited. That's an important difference.
Let's practice. I don't have to cook tonight because we're ordering food. She doesn't have to drive because her friend is picking her up. We don't have to hurry. Everything is ready. Notice how relaxed those sentences feel.
Another everyday use is talking about relationships. Listen carefully. I have two sisters. We have wonderful neighbors. She has supportive parents. They have lots of friends. Again, have doesn't always mean ownership. It's simply describing your relationships or connections.
We also use have for appointments and plans. I have a doctor's appointment. We have a meeting at 3. He has an interview tomorrow. They have soccer practice after school. These expressions are incredibly common.
Here's another mini practice. Finish these sentences. Tomorrow I have. This weekend I have to. Next month I have. There are many correct answers. Just keep speaking.
Here's one final tip before we finish part 2. Don't try to translate every use of have from your first language. Instead, learn complete expressions. Learn, have breakfast, have fun, have a meeting, have to work, have a seat, have a look. The more complete phrases you know, the more natural your English becomes. And don't forget to leave another comment below. Tell us which new expression you're going to use in a real conversation this week. We'd love to read your examples. That's a wrap for part 2. In part 3, we'll cover even more everyday uses of have, common mistakes learners make, interactive speaking practice, and a complete review to help you use this verb confidently in real conversations.
Welcome to the final part of today's lesson. Before we finish, let's look at some mistakes that almost every English learner makes with the verb have. The good news is that these mistakes are completely normal. Even advanced learners make them from time to time, so don't worry if you've heard yourself saying one of these before.
Exactly, every mistake is a chance to learn something new. Let's start with one of the most common ones. Some learners say, she doesn't has a car. That isn't correct. The correct sentence is, she doesn't have a car. After doesn't, we always use the base form of the verb, so it's always have, never has.
Here's another one. Sometimes people say, I am hungry, so I will eat a breakfast. While that's understandable, native speakers usually say, I'm going to have breakfast. Both eat breakfast and have breakfast are correct, but have breakfast is extremely common in everyday conversation.
Here's mistake number 3. Some learners forget to use have to for obligation. For example, incorrect, I must to leave now. Correct, I have to leave now. Or simply, I must leave now. Remember, must is never followed by to, but have to always is.
Here's one more. Some learners try to translate directly from their own language and say something like, I made a shower. Native speakers don't say that. Instead, we say, I had a shower. English has many common combinations like have a shower, have a break, have a look, and have fun. It's best to learn these as complete expressions, instead of translating word for word.
Now let's practice together. We'll give you 2 choices. Pause for a moment if you need to think, then say your answer out loud. Situation 1, you finished work and want to relax. Option A, I'm going to have a break. Option B, I'm going to do a break. The correct answer is option A. We always say have a break.
Situation 2, Your friend asks if you're free tonight. Option A, sorry, I have to study. Option B, sorry, I must to study. The correct answer is option A, have to study is the natural choice here.
Situation 3. Someone asks if you own a bicycle. Option A, yes, I have a bicycle. Option B, yes, I am having a bicycle. The correct answer is option A. We use have to talk about possession.
Situation 4. Your friend invites you to lunch. Option A, let's have lunch together. Option B, let's make lunch together. Both can be correct, but they mean different things. Have lunch means eat lunch. Make lunch means prepare or cook the food. Always think about what you really want to say.
Great job. Now here's your challenge. Create 3 original sentences using have. 1 sentence about something you own. 1 sentence about something you have to do this week. And 1 sentence using a common expression like have fun, have a seat, have dinner, or have a great day. Say them out loud first, then write them in the comments. We'd love to read your examples, and you might even inspire another learner.
Before we finish, let's review today's lesson. We learned that have is much more than a verb for possession. It's one of the most useful verbs in English because it appears in so many everyday situations. We use it to talk about things we own, personal characteristics, experiences, meals, activities, relationships, appointments, and obligations with have to. Learning these expressions as complete phrases will help your English sound much more natural.
Here's one final tip. Don't try to memorize a long list of grammar rules. Instead, listen to how native speakers use have in conversations, movies, podcasts, and TV shows. Every time you hear a new expression with have, write it down and try using it the same day. That's one of the fastest ways to make new vocabulary stick.
We hope this lesson gave you more confidence to use have in real conversations. Remember, fluency doesn't come from knowing every rule. It comes from practicing a little every day. Keep speaking, keep listening, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every sentence you say brings you one step closer to sounding natural. If you enjoyed this lesson, please give it a thumbs up, share it with another English learner, and subscribe to Fluent English so you never miss a new episode. And don't forget to leave a comment telling us which use of have was the most helpful for you, or write one of your own example sentences. We love reading your comments and seeing your progress.
Thanks so much for spending time with us today. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and remember that every conversation is a chance to improve. We'll be back soon with another practical English lesson to help you speak with confidence. Until then, take care, have a wonderful day, and as always, see you next time.